the links. Join channel here, become a member of or subscribe so I can mailbox. You want to mail me some comics. So Brie Larson, Taco Tongue, African, Scandinavian, Valkyrie, and Scissorine. What could possibly have saved Brie Larson's big opening? Well, filling it with a lesbian relationship, because every day is clown world and nobody can hear you honk. It is getting mighty clowny outside. In case you haven't been paying attention, the Marvels, yeah, we didn't see it. Yeah, not many people saw the Marvels. I saw it because someone bought me a ticket. Thanks, Vegan. With Brie Larson and some side. I mean, it was it was not a good movie at all. That was a long movie to sit through. And then there's the oh gosh, what's that movie with Rachel Zegler that just came out? It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. I don't think I can bring myself to watch this. So the Marvel's Brie Larson and some sidekicks that nobody cared about bombed because women didn't want to see a stupid action movie because women aren't men. How dare you say that? The discussions you can have with Twitter kids about their definition of that, it's freaking bizarre. Though I will say it does look like the pendulum's starting to swing back a little bit in the other direction, which is about time. It's been like 10 years of this kind of nonsense. Anyway, so it looks like this movie is actually going to bomb. You can check there's a website called By the Numbers website. A lot of times people say movies bomb, but they don't actually make as much as they expected to make, but they're still profitable. This actually looks like it's going to lose a few bucks, which Disney has had a lot of movies that have been losing monies. Maybe at the Eternals or Black Widow level, which actually did worse than the Eternals. Disney's had a few Marvel movies losing, I don't know, like $50 million plus, which, in case don't follow the movies, they're actually supposed to be profitable. But the only thing that's kind of keeping Disney going is they have so much old IP money coming in, and that, we've got theme parks and cruise ships and merchandise sale, which is huge. But you come and you go, you guys should try making good movies. Like, yeah, we'd have to fire everyone to get that going. Anyway, the thing is, when you control these IPs, and it's not just Disney Marvel, it's Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean and probably a bunch of other stuff, you'd think you'd be printing money. But then they got woke, gay, diverse, and lame, which people don't want. I mean, I say it all the time, but nobody listens to me. But they should listen to me. Instead, they call me Hugo Boss in tinfoil hat on Twitter. And that reminds me, the SCW Twitter kids have this insane belief that Disney movies and Hollywood movies in general that are bombing, not because of woke themes, which is clearly in these movies, but that they're creatively bankrupt because they're making movies, in their minds, they think, just to chase a profit. So they're believing something that's totally illogical because these movies are losing money. The Eternals, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, The Marvels, Black Adam, Batgirl, they put like $150 million into. I forget the actor in that, and that actually got canceled. They made the movie and they didn't release it. That's a bizarrely bad movie. And then Wonder Woman 1984, which they blamed the Wu flu on. That was 3 hours that I actually saw twice. No, that was just a horrible movie with Patty Jenkins. Then The Flash, Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, X-Men. There's a lot of bad movies that have lost money, more importantly. So these movies are woke, diverse, race-swapped, anti-white cancer, and losing money, but the Twitter SJWs can't admit that woke just doesn't sell, and women are not turning out for these movies that are apparently made. Charlie's Angels, it's not made for men, it's made for women. Why didn't men go see our movie? She honestly said that. It's just freaking, you look at her and you're like, what kind of echo chamber do you live in where you tell people not to see your movie and then you're surprised when they were supposed to drag their girlfriends and wives to the movie because women don't have agency. That's kind of what they're saying between the lines here. Anyway, so Twitter SJWs cannot admit that woke doesn't sell, and it really doesn't. So they assume these countries are chasing a profit by losing money. It doesn't make any sense. But their whole worldview is all this Marxist nonsense. If they showed a little bit more milkers on both these actors, you would have had more butts in seats. If the companies wanted to make a profit, they'd make the characters match what the artist intended and stop all race and sex swapping. I mean, really egregious one was in the Eternals, if you're familiar with the comic books. In fact, I'd go the other direction and start swapping all the non-white characters to people of the light, specifically German and Scandinavians, whoever really looks push the blonde hair, blue eye type of, Nordic James Bond type of character where you see somebody skiing down a mountainside and jumping over I don't know, a table and then a fence, that kind of stuff. Because I think that would appeal to a larger audience. But they say I'm the fashionable one for stating the obvious. Honestly, I don't think there's ever been a more soft soy generation than people under like 30, 35 today. So what could they have done to make the Marvels worse? Well, made her BLT. Think about what they already did with these ladies and the symbolism and the message under the message. They excluded men and children from the story. So they're brainwashing you into thinking it's normal for women to not have kids and instead take these action roles that are men's roles. The thing with Hollywood now is it's this Gordian knot of wokeness because the core dogma of Hollywood is anti-white. Always focus on that. And if you look at Hollywood through that lens, you'll start to so many puzzles will fit into play, so many pieces. But that's what the lizard top levels are really focused on. Anti-nation, anti-Europa. But the midwit, useful idiots don't really understand what's going on. Those are all the people on social media, but they don't know how deep this really goes. So the Marvels is this muddled mess of messaging because the useful idiots want to see POCs, WOCs, POCs, and WOCs in everything, but they won't pay for the movie. They did not pay for this movie, but that's irrelevant. They just want the movie to exist. And people should go see this movie, but you can look at them and be like, are you going to go see this movie? No, I'm really tied up. And ultimately, I mean, the numbers don't lie. People didn't go see this movie, and women didn't go see this movie, which was made for them. So, but I mean, women don't have agency, or CSJW women, I guess, don't have agency, so they can't blame themselves. They just ignore the argument. So the thing is, it has to check boxes, but it isn't exactly the messaging the top lizards want, because here the bad guy was some sort of pox-walks woman with colors, where the standard globalist messaging would be blonde-haired, blue-eyed is coded for the bad guy. Like in that last James Cameron movie, what was that? What was the name of that? Where the messaging was so on the nose, it was touching the brain. What was the name of the James Cameron? I guess it was, I have to be in a live stream for you to answer me. The James Cameron movie. It was like the huge budget movie. It's these aliens go to some like fish blue aliens or something. The bad guy was a blue-eyed person of the light and was military and oppressing the aliens who are all supposed to be like third world whatever, marginalized, oppressed, whatever Frankfurt School nonsense. I mean, that was just so. It's weird that more people don't see that. Not everyone is crazy, but the thing is, I'm not crazy. I mean, when I point this stuff out, it's like it's not confirmation bias. It's all really there. Anyway, so the Marvels went full circle woke, but that doesn't serve the upper lizard narrative where they have to code the antagonist as European, which they do with light hair, light eyes, even to the point where if they have to dye an actor's hair blonde. So anyway, in this movie, the chicks are in their fertility window. They're from, 20 to, I don't know how old Brie Larson and the Monica Rambeau are. But the thing is, they don't have kids or men, at least not in the story. So it doesn't, or if there were, I guess I must admit that missed it. So it doesn't really connect with people because we want women to take their proper roles in the tribe as wives and mothers. That's just part of our nature for 10 million years. So the undercurrent of this movie is anti-natal, anti-nation, anti-tribe, which is also seen by the three women not being of the same tribe, but I'll leave that there. I won't go into it any further. So the movie doesn't work because it's going against nature. This is just globalist Western anti-family propaganda. And what would be a step further into this narrative of the sinister path? Well, if you made Brie Larson have a sushi eating relationship with the Valkyrie, which keep in mind, you had Thor, the last Thor movie, I think, and they had these Valkyries, but they were black in the Norse pantheon. Think how insulting that is to the people who practice that religion today. No, there are no blacks in the Norse pantheon. That's anti-European hatred from the typical parasites in Hollywood. Would they have an African pantheon full of Chinese, Europeans, and Arabs? Go read the Shuri comic book. There's like 12 in a series. I think it's called Shuri. She's in it, and there's scenes where they're going to their afterlife, and it's the Wakandan pantheon, and it's obviously they all look like her. Okay, now take that scene and put Chinese, Europeans, and Arabs in that pantheon. You go, that's just ridiculous. Of course, it's the same amount of ridiculousness when you're 10,000 miles away in the Scandinavian, what Led Zeppelin say, land of the ice and snow. Yeah, there's no black Africans in that that's just insane. They're not in the Norse house of the gods. It's all ridiculous. So why do they do it to the Northern Europeans? Because it's part of the dehumanization process and the humiliation ritual connected to replacing and destroying a people. And Hollywood is just one facet of this dark crystal. So the three ladies already are not part of a tribe. They don't have kids. They don't fit into any structure of life and continuity. But I suppose at least the possibility is there. But what's the next level of anti-nation globalist propaganda? Well, that's what they wanted to do, is have Brie Larson and some chick be in a relationship, because no life can come from two women licking each other. They can never be part of the tribe. They'll always be on the outskirts. That would be loudly signaling that they're taking the left-hand path, the Lilith. And that would be a bridge too far even for Disney. They are Satanists, but they know how well the scene of two men with a child did in I think it was the Eternals. Nobody wants to see it. We're going to edit that out for the Middle East, Africa, and China. Oh, can we get the edited version? No, you istophobe. But the majority of the world doesn't want to see that. So we're getting the anti-natal propaganda, the anti-family propaganda, the BLT Hollywood stuff, but the rest of the world doesn't get that. Gosh, that's weird. Good to see Hollywood sticking to its degenerate guns. Anyway, nobody wants to see that kind of stuff. Sodomy just does not sell, and the Marvels already bombed, but that would have. I'm like to see how much it bombs. Like the Eternals, I think did like $380 million or something, and Shang-Chi did like $400 million, and what was the other one I mentioned? They all did. Black Widow did like $400 million, and all of those were, I think, $200 million films. They all lost a respectable amount of money. This is actually more like a $240 million movie, plus advertising that they spent on it. So this is going to lose money that is, I mean, Disney's just like, they throw away money to the like tens of millions, 50 million, $100 million, where even the Panda movie lost $169 million. That's just, you look at them, you're like, why are you guys making these bad movies? And then you look at that Panda movie, Black Pilled on Odyssey, who is like the smarter version of me. He did a video breakdown on that and all the symbolism in it. It's just fan-freaking-tastic. He does live streams on Odyssey and actually makes a lot of money doing it. Fantastic. He was on YouTube, and then in 2018, I think, after they decided they didn't want to get Trump get elected, they kicked off all these cool channels. So there's like 100 of these right-wing channels that all went to alternative platforms. But that movie has symbolism just on top of symbolism. It's just, it's just disgusting what they're doing with that. Anyway, the thing is, you can look at movies through a globalist flowchart type of filter. You ask yourself, what kind of propaganda is this movie pushing? And it's always going to be globalist. So you just try to identify the messaging. After a while, you realize that is all of Hollywood, and it goes back since post-war. The preachers ranting about how demonic Hollywood is, they were right back in the 1980s. It's even worse now. It's even unimaginably worse. And you get there by slowly boiling the frog, and you think about it like, oh gosh, if it's changed so much in 40 years, what happens in the next 40 years? Well, there have been periods of time where this thing has happened before. Don't look back. Don't look back, otherwise you'll turn into sodium chloride. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks to Mr. Nature for the hardware, and I will see you guys. Computers, not Liberty devices. Nobody sent me a Liberty device. Computers. I know hardware has a dual meaning. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.